Hello guys, welcome back to Style and Culture. You have a very special guest in the building. We have a Connor Jackson, aka CJ. So he's gonna tell us a little bit more about him. Welcome to the channel, man.
Thank you, brother.
Good to have you in here. And tell us a little bit more about you and how you started the brand.
Okay.
How did that fashion brand started?
Yes, so I'm a designer and an artist. My journey with my brand Involution really started many years ago. But I'll start from when I first got into as being a designer. So it kind of goes back to my undergraduate days because I studied psychology at university.
Sure. Which you go to?
In Liverpool.
Liverpool, okay.
And then as I was studying in my degree, I was actually late at night in the library sketching, designing clothes because I always knew that this was something I was interested in.
Yeah.
But I guess at the time, my passion for design kind of elevated a bit further. So then when I came out university, I did a further studying because I wanted to see if this is actually something I want to do.
Yeah.
So I did a developing a menswear short course at Central St Martin's University in London. And then when I did that week, I knew it was from there. From that week on, I knew this is what I want to do. Yeah, I knew this is what I'll do. I knew who this was. And I learned, because Central St Martin's is actually the biggest fashion school in the UK, I think in Europe as well. So what I got taught by my tutor was being about thinking conceptual within clothing. Yeah. So he set as a task and he was like, okay, you go off and think of something, that means something to you or resonates with you and put it into clothing. So what I did was I went to the Tate Modern Museum in London, right. And I'm very much into art as well. So, I seen these paintings that were very surrealist style. So I thought, how about if I took surrealism paintings and turn it into clothing? So I would then trace it above like a jacket or a t-shirt and see what that painting would look like within the clothing. So this kind of got me thinking around the more conceptual side of fashion as well. So how can I translate things which I'm interested in into clothing? And then that's what really sparked my concept with Involution. So each collection that I do kind of really resonates a new story and what I'm inspired by.
Would you say you picked the wrong course when you went to uni then?
People ask me that. I would say I picked the wrong course. I liked my course, but it was just, it's easy to say, yeah, if I go back, I'll redo it this way. But at the time, that's just how it panned out. It panned out in that way.
I was going to ask, so what's the story behind the name Involution?
Yes, the story behind the name Involution is actually the story of my life. So it's essentially, it means the creation of, it means the process of creation.
Yeah.
So when you think of evolution, involution is what comes before.
Yeah.
So when something comes into this world, it evolves, but involution is what becomes the internal side of things. So a lot of it is kind of coincides with my life. So as I do collection, it's always a new part of me. It's always a new, ever evolving part of me at the same time.
So you also have like the designing also called studio that you're working on. How is that relate to what you do with your clothing as well?
Well, in terms of my branding studio,
yes,
that isn't really related with my clothing, to be honest with you. That's more me, because that's a service-based business.
Yes.
And that's me providing more service to the market, and how I can add value there from what I've learned in my journey with Involution in terms of branding, what things I've learned and now I then provide solutions to other businesses.
Okay, that's sick.
Yeah.
Because having the mindset to be able to run two different things.
Yes.
is hard.
Yes.
It's hard. I know it's very challenging. But which one would you say you put more time into?
I put more time into both. So my schedule is I do CJ Studio through the day and I do Involution at night. So this is how it's always kind of been in the past year since I launched a second business. So the time's equal, but the passion's the same. But Involution will always be my North Star in a way, because that's the broader vision of how I want to expand within clothing.
Have you done any pop-ups events already?
I started this year. So this year I've done a few pop-ups in Manchester. I did a fashion show.
How did that go?
That was cool, man. That was cool, because you know what it is. What I really learned in my journey was a lot of times when you're trying to get this traction behind your brand, you want to get your brand out there. You are just sitting behind the desk, working on stuff, putting it out there and hoping people are going to catch on to it. But when I did the pop-ups this year in Manchester, then I can get the customer feedback. Now they're going to tell me, yeah, I understand this, I understand that. and then you can see what they resonate with and what they don't.
You can get feedback about it, like, you know, the fabrics and all of that. So can you give us, like, you know, the start to finish the process of your, you know, design and all of that when you start, when you creating your pieces?
So it really starts off with a core foundational inspiration. So whatever's kind of shaping me at that time in my life. For example, I'll go into my first collection of the architectural form. So that is based off an architect called Jean Nouvel, and within his
sound French.
Yes, it is French. Yes, it is French, and his buildings really focus on the shape and form. And so I was very interested to see how this would look in clothing. So that's exactly what I did. I executed it. So I can start really from a mood board, you know, loads of his images of some of the buildings. Then I'll look at the silhouettes of the clothing. So I'll look at, okay, we'll do the trousers like this, do sweatshirt like this. Then I look at whatever the unique point of the clothing will be. So can I turn the sweatshirt into a t-shirt? Can I add a zipper there? More the construction process. And then we'll finish on, like, you know,
make it multifunctional.
Yes, the multifunctional in that aspect.
I was gonna ask this question regarding to the functionality. How do you think about the functionality of your pieces?
So I think on my own, really. I am my own customer. So let's say, for example, I have a wide leg trouser, and I always had a problem with wearing. I always like wearing smart trousers, but let's say if I've got a Converse shoe and I've also got a flat shoe, I won't be able to wear it with that same dynamic. So then I added a buckle at the bottom of the trouser to then also be able to wear it with a Converse style as well. So
you wanna make it, like, you know, be able to variate the type of shoes you want to put on, the type of piece of that top you want to put on.
Exactly that though, exactly that. It's the variation that gives the customer a different choice, and that really goes within the styling. You know, however you're styling your outfit, you have the choice.
That's a good vision as well. So would you say, like, what would you say is your favorite collection or pieces that you've created so far?
My favorite collection, my favorite piece that I've created is my Ascension sweatshirt, because I've just never had a sweatshirt that turns into a t-shirt before. And when you want to go out and you want to wear something nice, and then it gets a bit hotter, and then you want to take it, you can change it into a t-shirt at the same time. It gives you the flexibility, and it's easy to transition on and back on as well.
You feel like, you know, feeling a little bit colder. You make it
exactly.
And then, you know, that's good though. That's good as well.
That's probably my favorite.
I need to come through to your studio and then see the pieces, like, you know, face to face, and then see, like, you know, how the design and the materials and everything you're doing. Definitely, like, because you see me, like, you know, like a great quality product as well you're doing and that. So what's the feedback did you get online as well from people as well?
So this is a big thing, right? So my original vision for Involution was actually to combine different art forms together within clothing as well. And so I used to do collections where I'd put out a performance art video, which would kind of tell a lot heavy on the storytelling. However, I've realized when you try to do too much at the beginning and you try to innovate so much in the beginning of your journey, it confuses the customer. Because the customer is like, well, you're doing this, but you're doing that, but you're doing this. You know, and the simplicity is what will resonate with people. So when you want to expand, you got big ideas. The room for innovation comes later down the line, not at the beginning. Let's take that from my own advice.
So would you say, like, you know, your brand on everything you're working on at the moment, you resonate with you as a person, or you create ideas thinking about how people would see the brand, or yes, you know, I'm gonna be myself, I'm gonna create what I feel like I'm gonna create, instead of looking what others gonna like or not like it.
Well, that's exactly my journey. At the beginning, it was all about me. This is how I want to express myself through clothing. This is my vision. This is how I'm going to do it. This is what inspires me. But then I realized through my journey, actually, I need to consider the customer and how they're viewing what I'm doing. Because where I went wrong was I led with the vision, then the product, instead of the vision. Instead of the product, then the vision. Do you get what I mean? So I did it the wrong way around, but obviously I learned through my experiences, and then I just adapted to that and being flexible with it.
Okay, that's, you know, the designs are pretty good. Do you design it yourself?
Yes, I design everything myself.
So you produce a tech pack, and then what about the production of the pieces that you do?
Yes, so I've worked in productions, a few different factories. I did it in Turkey, and I've also done some handmade myself as well. So this t-shirt right now This is my Miyamoto t-shirt.
It's a good t-shirt.
This is screen printed, so I did this myself, like handmade.
So you bought all the materials.
Bought materials, got my tailor to, you know, stitch it all up together, and I did the prints myself. So this was very handmade.
It makes it unique. People need to consider, you know, when the brand is not, you know, is made handmade, the pricing gonna be a little bit higher. So I just want to make public understand that sometimes, you know, when you going through the manufacturers and producing stuff, like it can become a little bit more cheaper because, you know, the production sometimes can be a little bit cheaper. But when you put in the time and effort to, you know, manually do the work, people need to respect the prices more. You know what I mean? Guys, if you have a long hair, you want to get your hair done, male or female, check Amina's doll on Instagram, and book your appointment. It's £20 deposit. If you don't turn up, it's not refundable. But you're gonna get your hair done perfectly. Check out, this is mine. This is what they done for me. You see, it's perfect, beautiful hair. You wanna get your hairs done, just check out Amina's doll and book your appointment. It's Manchester based. You already know, you're not gonna regret. Your hair is gonna be perfect, gonna be looking good. That's it.
Yeah.
What would you say? Because I've seen your prices up, you know, as a pretty high.
Yes.
Do you say like people do have that in mind, thinking, okay, sometimes the pieces is produced by hand, so I need to, you know, value that a little bit more?
Yes, absolutely. But it's also the quality of the design that you're buying into. You know, like for me, I am again my own customer, so I kind of measure it against, you know, I'm a high-end menswear brand.
Yeah.
So it's not out of reach, the pricing, but it's at a price where this is an investment. Yeah. You know, because it's a piece of clothing. Like I've come from a background of working with big global brands, big retailers, and I've been to these meetings, and all the focus on the trends. Okay, yeah, that brand's doing that, let's copy that. That brand's doing that, let's copy that. And it's just like, that's not, to me, that's not what fashion is about. That's not what design's about. Design is about creating something that's unique to you, and then you bring it your own perspective to the market, and then, you know, you're adding value to the world. You know, instead of just trying to be imitating this brand, that brand, this brand. That's not what fashion's about.
Yeah, fast fashion destroying the fashion. I would
Exactly.
Fast fashion, definitely. But you know, when you go to like, you know, there's you know, online, I was call again like stores that sell like multiple different brands that you see like pretty much selling exactly the same pieces, just like, you know, little details that I don't know, take some off. You know, that one, you know, is I don't see as, you know, really like, you know, something that's, you know, gonna improve fashion.
Yes.
I would say like more like, you know, declining.
Yes, exactly.
Again, you know, people not really, you know, do you know what I mean?
But then it goes back to, what do you value as a customer? You know, do you value good products, an actual piece of clothing that you're gonna have for a few years? Yeah. Like I'm sure you bought clothing we still have 5 years ago, and people who see you in the street, I love that jacket, I love that sweatshirt. Yeah. And you're like, I bought this 5 years ago.
Like timeless.
You know what I'm saying? It's timeless because it's an actual piece. It's not just something that you just, I'll wear for this summer, I'll wear for this holiday, I'm not wearing it again. That's to me, that's never what I identified with as a customer. And as a designer, that's not where I design from. So when you're buying some clothing, you're buying something
quality in the first place. Because when you go to a high-end store, the first thing you notice is when you touch the fabric, you feel like, you know, this fabric is gonna last me long. Yes. You know, the fabric is not a pretty good quality as well, heavy and all of that. So do you think about those details when you produce?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, the fabric quality, the way it's constructed, and just how it feels. You know, when you put it on as well. That's like the main thing, because fashion is always a feeling. You know, when you put a t-shirt on, when you put some trousers on, like, what does it make me feel like? And for my customer, I'd hope to say that when they put my t-shirt on and put a jacket on, they're walking outside and they're feeling great, they're feeling confident, they're feeling like, yeah, this is me, this is what represents me, this is what I am.
No, I don't want to just talk about your brand. I also want to go through, you know, the studio, the JC studio. So you want to tell us a little bit more
CJ
about
Studio.
It? CJ, I keep saying JC. Sorry guys, it's not JC. CJ Studio. So you want to tell us a little bit more about the CJ Studio?
Yes, so that really came from a place of, I realized I had all these skill sets, and then me leaving London, where I've been in for the past 10 years, that I could accumulate into a business and then provide value to the market from my own learnings, my own mistakes, and also me just having a broad skill set as well. So I started out, like I said, from a place of me wanting to solve people's problems in other businesses, other brands, not within fashion, that's not really my thing, but within architecture, within property, within galleries, institutions, and really kind of elevate them and take them to the next level. So what I do with that, really, I focus on what is their direction, what's their identity, and what strategy do they have. And that's what I'll accumulate for them, and then I'll engineer, design to then take them to that next level.
To match up, the type of like the vision you have, or the knowledge you already have from the company, and then be able to
exactly
take that to the next level.
Exactly that.
How would you say that one is going? Because that's something like you're doing, on your daily basis as well.
Yes.
Like you need to put a lot of research, and how that is time consuming to you? What would you say?
It is time consuming, but that's more an investment on like you going out there and networking.
Yeah.
Because it's like that's building the trust aspect there as well. Because if you're doing business with someone, that you're doing a business with a company, they want to see the credibility from you. They want to see that you can do what you say you can do, and to find those people and to broaden your horizons. It's a lot of going out there, and meeting different people from different walks of life. So it's being able to, conduct yourself in a certain way, where you're just coming at it from, a pure adding value. Because a lot of times you can come at it from a sales perspective, like I'm just trying to make a sell here, but they can sense it off you.
That's important. That's important. When you're networking, you shouldn't be trying to sell people stuff.
No.
You come in there, you tell people what you're doing. What's your passion about? Why do you want to do that thing? Do you know what I mean? You just talk through your heart, what you feel and everything. You don't say, okay, would you like to, be part of it? You don't offer that. They would offer it. If they feel that energy from you, they will definitely offer to be, to work with you or be part of what you're doing. Like that's how I would see it the way I network anyway. If I'm networking, I'm not gonna come in and say, trying to persuade people to buy my stuff.
Yes.
I will come in there and then, show my passion for what I'm doing. Show your passion, ask questions about what they're doing as well, without, being too invasive as well. Not making, asking personal questions. Networking is a skill. It's a skill.
It's a skill.
People don't take networking as a skill, but it's a skill for sure. So, what's new projects are you working on? Do you put in any collection out recently, like soon, or you're working on different projects as well?
Yes. So right now, I am designing my next collection, which I'm hoping to release at the end of this year. And then also with the CJ Studio, I'm also I'm currently now working with some gallery institutions. So I work with the Sculpture Gallery in Leeds, and I build a lot of their branding and their strategy and design as well. And also working with property services as well. So I've got a few projects on the branding, and then with Involution, I'm releasing hopefully a collection.
We can expect a collection.
Of course, yeah. By the end of the year, all due time, and
okay, I'll be tapped in and then see.
Yeah, and more events, more pop-ups too, man.
Obviously, that's something.
This summertime,
I'll come around definitely. If you do any events, make sure you get my invitation in there.
Yeah.
Pop up in there and see what you're doing. Obviously, I think your brand is is pretty good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So definitely, I would definitely want to be there and then to see what else you're doing. The new collection. Have you ordered it already, or are you still in the process of designing?
In the process of designing it. Yeah. Because with the way I do collections, again, it has to always have like a theme around it. I want it to be, it's almost like I do collections like it's my new album. This is how my mindset's kind of around it. So I'm still in that process now of figuring out that theme for it, and then I'll go ahead and then work on the designs parts of it.
So when it comes to challenges, I want to talk about challenges because I'm someone that already own a clothing brand. I know how hard it is. So what would you say is the biggest challenge have you gone through so far, owning a brand and then doing this project with the CJ Studio as well? What's the biggest challenge of it?
For the biggest challenge so far with my brand has definitely been the building, like working on your pitch of like why should I buy from you, or like, why should I buy into your brand? And a lot of time my almost kind of held me back I was very into it, I was too close to it without seeing it from an external perspective. So then that confuses, my actual customer. And then once I learned, through experience, this enabled me now. I realized I need to build my community out. So this is why I come back up north to Manchester, so I can build my community out here and just really start at the grassroots level instead of just putting on Facebook Ads Manager, sending out to New York, to Tokyo, because I think this is where my customer is. However, it's just when you start off a brand from the beginning, you know, you just
we need to make sure
start where you're from, innit?
From,
Start where you're from.
Stay planted, you know, start from the roots and, you know, grow bigger.
Start where you're from, build out from there, because I tried to go for overseas straight away. I was doing, you know, sending my stuff to NBA players in America, hoping that they'll wear it, get a few, you know, photos of them, or send it to Japan and Tokyo, and it's just you just try to go too broad, too big, too soon.
Too soon,
So that was definitely one of my biggest challenges. But I feel great, you know what I'm saying, be back up north in Manchester. I've you know, started to build my community out now. It's great. Like, you know, people love what I'm doing. So it's good, man. You know what I'm saying? But it's a lot of times, the most progress I have made has been when I've taken parts of my ego away.
Yes.
Honestly, when I've taken parts of my ego away and just focused, okay, I don't know why I had this mindset now.
Customers first.
Customers first.
Customers, as much as I want to, you know, have my own style, put my own thing to it. But I also need to think about other people's people have different styles.
Exactly.
Have different way of seeing different brands. So I wanted to make sure, you know, would you like to work with designers, or you just want to be your own, design your own stuff?
Just my own stuff. So design's always been my passion, and this is why I never designed for another company. Even though I worked in fashion for a long time, I never was a designer, because I would see how they would operate as designers, and that's not what I valued at all. So I would always design for myself, definitely.
You would like to build a team with the people that share the same mindset with you, because obviously, like, it's gonna be hardworking if your brand is growing.
Of course.
Obviously, like, I see your brand like in massive potential. And your brand will be growing, and then you're also gonna need people like that share the same mindset as you to be able to, like, you know, put things together to design something, like, you know, greater. Obviously, like, you're still gonna go through you. Get released. But
of course. You know, it is, and at that point there, you do have to get to the point where you're building out a team, and then you are taking other people on board. But I guess design would always be, I would always be a bit like attached to it in a way. But I see what you're saying. As long as I met people with the right vision and the right values, and I saw things the same way that I did, then I'd be happy to work with them, bring them on board.
100%. You say you lived in London for 10 years. And how is difference you being in London, trying to get your brand out there, and then being up north and then try to get it? But what's the difference you see?
The difference is in London you are just a small fish in a big pond, but up north, you know, there's more I guess opportunities to really build your community out, because it's still big in Manchester, but London's just like, there's so many brands in London, there's so much going on, you know, trying to get people to care about what you do. It's just, you are fighting an uphill battle. But in Manchester up north, it's a lot more grounded, you know, the people up here and everything like that. So it's definitely a lot easier.
You feel like it's easier to make it up here than, like, you know,
we'll just start from the starter points as well. I'm northern, so like I meet other northerners, like it's easier, like our, you know, the way we are, it's just different. So
so how long have you been owning your clothing brand for so far?
Like 2 years now.
2 years now. So as a like, you know, brand owner for like, you know, you're owning a brand for 2 years. So what would you advise somebody that, you know, want to start a clothing brand that still hold themselves back to start it?
A lot of it is always down to belief. Is how much do you believe in what you see? You're building a brand because you have a vision. You're not building a brand because you just want to be cool or something, or you just want to, like, make some money. Yeah, you could do that. I'm sure a lot of people do that. But for me, as long as you have a belief in what your vision is for your brand, then you just got to keep being persistent with it. Keep persisting and keep believing it and keep dreaming it. And the more I found you just keep persistent and you keep knocking on that door, your path will just enable you and just let you walk through the ways that you can never imagine. You know, the adversity that I've overcome in this journey, so many different things have come into my life, but it's just like, when I see the next step, and then you just keep going.
Persistent, you definitely, you open the door, at some point it will open.
Exactly.
As much you think, you know, there's no hope, if you carry on, you know, knocking that door, it will open. So, but what would you be your response for people that doubt you or underestimate your vision?
Oh man, look, I've had that so much in my journey. You know, so many people doubt you, so many people just don't see the vision. But I never really cared, to be honest with you. I've got a thick skin, man. I never really cared about that. Even though you can sense it off people and they might even tell you, but it's just like, at the end of the day, they're not you. You are you. You've lived your life. Other people haven't lived your life. So it's just take it as it comes, and just don't be bitter about it either. Like just be grounded, stay working hard.
Definitely, man. I'll take that. So, what would you say is the boldest risk have you taken so far, and then would you say that paid off?
Ah, man, but the boldest risk is probably just exactly doing what I'm doing with my brand, because I feel like I could have made a t-shirt brand that was just had like a logo on it or something like that, but I always want to create something that was different. So I know what I'm bringing to the market with Involution isn't maybe what people have seen before.
Yeah.
So that's a risk in itself, because people are like, well, I don't really know. I've not seen something like this before, so it's hard for them to relate to you in that way.
Yeah.
But then it's about refining it to make people see, okay, yeah, I do get his method. I get how he thinks now. So yeah, I do now value it.
So do you think people like, you know, those that underestimate your fashion vision, do you think like, you know, they understand it now?
More now, yeah. More now, I'd say so. Just because obviously when you start doing stuff like the pop-ups, you start doing the events, and people start seeing you, you know, liking your stuff. It's like, oh, I like this stuff. What? The ladies like this stuff? You know what I'm saying? Now they start believing in it more. Do you get what I'm saying? Like,
sometimes you need others to accept it. Then accept it. To be honest, you know, like I feel like that's a human being. Human beings sometimes, you know, they see what you're doing. They don't want to value what you're doing until they see other people that know you from anywhere.
That's human nature.
Those that know you do underestimate your talents, you underestimate your vision until they see strangers start accepting you. That's when it's, oh, you know what? I know you, man. Hey, come on, man. I always knew we would do it, but deep down, you never thought that, you know, that would happen.
Look, that is the modern world we live in right now. As soon as people see other people liking your stuff, now I want to buy it. And even though you've had it out for like over a year now, you know what I'm saying. But now he's wearing it, I want it too now. It's just it is what it is, but don't be bitter about it. Accept it and just keep it moving. That's what I'll say.
Yeah, that's great. So what would you say you want people to remember about you as a person?
As a person?
As a person. What kind of legacy do you want to leave behind? You want, like, you know, when one day people gonna, you know, every time people see you, they'll know, yeah, this is CJ from, do you know what I mean? What kind of legacy do you want to leave behind?
That passion, that drive for what he believed in, honestly, man. Like, there's so many things that I'm interested in I've accumulated through my life experiences, which I know it just hasn't been done before.
Yeah.
So I want people to see me and be like, wow, that drive and that passion and everything he's overcome in his life and the way he's taken Involution and the way his style looks and the way that those designs looks, it's just like a different level compared to anything I've seen before. So it's almost been progressive. I always want Involution to be a progressive fashion brand. Yeah. So I'm taking things to a different level with things, you know.
Obviously, you want, you know, your thing to be constantly like evolving, getting better and better. You don't want to stagnate.
Exactly that. But even with the aesthetics, and with the designs, like every collection is gonna look a bit better. It's gonna be like, okay, yeah, he's getting better. It's like playing sport. You know, you're constantly in training. That's how I see it in design. Like I'm constantly in the gym. I'm constantly thinking, okay, yeah, I could try this time there, try this time there. So it's just, but always improving the craft.
Sure. So, which brand would you say, like, you know, you see with the same, like, you know, way do you want your brand to go, and then they went that way, and in that same direction you want to go with your brand? I
would say, as a designer, the fashion brand which has always been inspiring to me is being Alexander McQueen.
Yeah. Is that your favorite brand?
Not my favorite brand, but just as a designer. Yeah. Just because in his early days, like the way he used to do collections and the way he used to do fashion shows was like a performance experience. It had like a complete, I don't know if you've seen the documentary, but it had like a whole theme to it, and the collections were so disruptive in the market at the time, but people loved it, and I love watching and hearing him talk about how it's designed. Different.
So you want to go for more different role than, you know, be like more common like everyone else.
Yeah, but also still being commercial. Yeah. You know, still having stuff like I want people to wear what things I design at Fashion Week, but they can also wear it for a night out. They can wear it to go hang out with the boys. They can go see it for a meal, but they can also wear it in those, you know, every day, but also at those big events, you know, at those fashion weeks.
I see you only make clothing for men. Would you think one day actually, like, you know, open the space for female clothing?
Yeah. So people ask me that a lot. Like, why don't you do unisex? And I say the reason why I don't want to do unisex is because I actually want to do women's wear. Yeah. Like real couture dress, women's wear, like real suits, everything. So a lot of women wear my clothes already. Like a lot of women just buy men's clothes anyway. But it's just not marketed in that way. But one day, 100%. I'll say in the next couple of years, I'll do women's wear, 100%.
That's good. So I want you to basically like, you know, give shout out to whatever you're doing right now, for people like know what's coming up, what you're doing, anything that you want to announce to us, like, you know, right now to see, you know, because obviously people want to know what you're doing, what's coming up, what's, you know what I mean.
So right now I got 8 pieces on my store right now. I'm doing fashion shows this year, I'm doing events this year, I got new collections coming up. Right now I got crazy amazing designs right now available at involutionstore.com.
Come on, man. Well, nice to have you on the channel. It was
Respect,
a great conversation. We definitely need to, you know, have a round 2, because obviously, like, we don't have much time to, because, you know, we're finishing now, but definitely, like, you know, we'd like to have you longer for us to talk about after the collection. When the collection comes out, we do another episode, and then so we can present that collection. And I want to be able to, like, you know, get people out there to understand, you know, what you're doing, your vision in it is great. You know what I mean? When the collection come out, you come in and then we have another conversation. We show that collection. What do you think about it?
Sounds good, bro. Sounds good, man. Love your platform, man. Love your platform.